want a bra. I didn't want a bra for the breasts that would eventually become 37. I remember the conversation I had with my mom when she told me I needed one. I was like, Mom, I don't need a bra. She was like, look at my face, look at my chest. Yes, you do. And I remember the violence between us as we went to Walmart or Kmart or some other mart and we were trying to select one. And I lived on top of the flower shop that my grandma owned, and of course we went upstairs through the flower shop that fateful weekday, and we go into the back room and my grandma is there and her co-worker's there, a longtime family friend. And just like in a movie, my mother proceeds to take the plastic bag, put her hand into it, hold up this tiny excuse for a bra and go, her first one! Mom!
Alright, so when I was a child, I was constantly told the story of Narcissus. Now, for those of you who don't know, Narcissus was a man who was so enamored with his reflection that eventually he fell into the lake where he was watching it and drowned. Now you see, the reason of this is because I have always been obsessed with mirrors. I'm not entirely sure why I was so obsessed though. You know, researchers say that a child's recognizable obsession with mirrors shows that they're ready to sort of acknowledge that they are an independent, autonomous being. So, in that sense, I love mirrors because I value my independence. But somehow, I don't think that's right. You see, in mirrors, we can see ourselves, but we can also see everyone around us. We differentiate ourselves from those around us, and we also mimic them. For example, right now, I'm assuming the posture of Ariel Giselle Rogers. And by making this stance, I'm clearly moving myself away from that guy in the gray to my left, who has his hands together. Now, our memory of this mirror can also be comparing ourselves to celebrities, to advertisements, to things we see. When I was little, I was obsessed that if I looked my eyes just like this, there were Nicole Kidman's. It was a little fantasy. But if you consider it in that way, my obsession with mirrors is proving that I'm constantly defining and redefining myself in conjunction with other people. That sounds kind of profound, but I still don't think that's it. Now, my dad said that the thing about looking at me, looking at myself in the mirror, was that I never seemed to actually be looking at myself, but I seemed to be looking at other people. Or I seemed to be looking at something beyond it. You know, as a kid with a crazy creative mind, I translated this into that there's another dimension beyond the mirror and I'm a secret princess hidden right here. But you know, to admit that I actually still believe that would be to admit that I'm crazy, which I am, but not to that point quite yet. So, why am I so obsessed with mirrors? I don't know. You guys have just been staring at me, talking to myself in a mirror for about 2 minutes. Why don't you answer me? Bob. I'm a narcissist, aren't I?
With Glenna and Charlotte. Glenna. Yeah, Glenna. Yeah, Glenna.
Put your head under the water.
No.
Put your head under the water, it'll be fine. Do it.
No.
Put your head under the water. I'm not gonna
No.
put my gum in your hair or anything.
No, I'm afraid you're going to put your gum in my hair.
That's stupid. You just said that because I just said that. Put your head under the water.
Okay.
My brother committed suicide when I was 6 years old. He was just 20 years old. For that reason alone, I define my entire childhood around his death. All I can really remember from that day, May 10th, 1997, is three things. One, when I thought of the word suicide, I like to think that even at the age of 6, I knew that meant that Christopher wasn't coming home. 2, earlier in the day, I had seen my father push my brother into a metal fence. They were arguing, and I recall nothing of what was said. But Christopher had cuts on his back. And 3 is the last memory of that day. I remember standing outside of the bathroom door. Christopher came out and passed me. And I would like to think that he patted my head or smiled at me, but I can't say for sure. He was holding a brown paper bag with his clothes in it. Soon after that passing, I remember standing on my tippy toes looking out the front door window and watching Christopher ride his bicycle down our driveway. He wasn't coming home. The fence has long been replaced, but the holes that my father made with his fist are still on the bathroom door. And my sister still has Christopher's bike somewhere in her garage. But she refuses to show me the spot where Christopher was found. Burned. He was only found in a town away from my native Wheeling, Illinois. And I wonder if I had driven past that spot without knowing the significance of that place. And I wonder if the cops at the time were the ones that were found in charge with racially profiling and closing cases just because they were too lazy to follow through with them. And for a lot of years, I was angry with my father. But this isn't about my father because he's still very much a defeated man. I was just an angry child growing up. It got so bad that in 5th grade, I myself declared that I wanted to kill myself. I told this to my social worker, and instead of letting me vent and cry in her office, she told my parents, who at the time I felt were the direct cause of my anger. So, Mark Twain Elementary decided my academic fate and sent me to an alternative middle school where I spent the next 3 years of my life, my childhood, fighting with other students and getting suspended. I am 20 years old myself now. And I don't want to be angry anymore. When I turned 21, instead of drinking or doing drugs or doing the Court Street Shuffle, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to drive 400 miles, that's 8 hours, back to Wheeling, Illinois, and go to Christopher's grave and lay a sunflower on his tombstone and tell him that I'm still here and that I miss him every day of my life. But because of Christopher, I love